What the heck should you charge for your online course, and how do you know if you're charging enough and maybe leaving too much money on the table? So timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a link to our online course playbook to help you get up and profiting as quickly as possible, as well as how to actually validate your course before you spend hours, if not months or weeks, putting it together. I should say weeks and then months. Anyway, let's move on. When it comes to how much you should be charging, of course, this is going to depend on your audience, the type of traffic, your niche or industry, what specifically your course is about, what it's helping them achieve. And of course, you didn't watch this video to hear, well, it depends, right? So we're gonna go through some concrete places we can go to find actual courses that are already selling in our niche. And then of course, we'll go through some different pricing tiers based upon the type of course you have and maybe how much content is in it. But of course, this is always going to depend upon your actual niche or industry, right? Because if we're selling how to make money in stocks or crypto or whatever the latest investing trend is, you're probably gonna be able to charge a lot more as opposed to how to grow your own organic food in your backyard, right? Just because the results that we deliver in those courses are drastically different. So let's jump in here. The best place to go to find how much you should be charging for your course is, of course, the biggest online course marketplace, udemy.com. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. So if you go over to Udemy, you'll find a lot of courses similar to probably some that you want to create. You'll see they're anywhere from $5 all the way up to hundreds. But the problem is Udemy's business model is predicated on taking a $200 course and then selling it for 15 bucks for the next 24 hours or whatever their flash sale is. So when you see a $300, $400, even $500 course with thousands of students, they probably didn't pay that price. So a better place to go is over to clickbank.com. Now, you don't have to be an affiliate marketer. You don't have to try and collect an army of affiliates to sell your course, but you can create a free account as an affiliate, and then you can go through their marketplace and database of digital products in your niche that are actually selling. And you can actually see some of the conversion rates and sales rates. And so you're going to want to go over there, and this will give you a minimum for your price point. So if you're worried about like, what's the minimum I should be charging here? That's a good place to start because you can always raise your prices. It's a lot easier to go over to ClickBank and see something selling for like 45 or 100 bucks. You try that price point and then work your way up from there, as opposed to trying to sell a $500 course, figuring out only a couple people bought, and then pissing off your customers because 2 or 3 months later, you're selling the same course for $300. So we always want to make sure that we're going up with our course testing as opposed to going down, so that our current students and customers are actually happy with us, as opposed to you losing customers because they're pissed off that they had to pay more just because you were trying to figure out your pricing. So the first tier of products that we're going to look at are going to be a combination of a mini course or digital product. This could be some sort of bundle in terms of a media kit. Maybe it's just a PDF or Google Sheet. So whatever it is, here is a pricing table of what these will typically look like. Of course, these aren't necessarily online courses, but these are great products to try before you make your online course. So I'll leave a link in the cards in the description to a full-blown guide that goes through how to create and sell online courses using a simple strategy, creating products like this to validate people want more of this type of content from you before, of course, you go and make a giant course. And I realize I keep saying course a lot. I think it's just because I've been writing course and that's all that's on my mind. So anyway, coming back to our chart here, something that is important to point out is if you look at a $5 product, we need a 20% conversion rate. That is over 200 people out of 1,000 to purchase our product to make $1,000 versus a $25 product or $24.95 or whatever you call it. We'll get to the 95s and 7s and 9s in a moment. You can see we only need 40 people. And so there's a diminishing returns when it comes to pricing your product low, because we can just say, okay, well, you know what? I want more customers and more sales. So I'm just gonna price it low. Well, that means our marketing, our sales pages, our emails, our videos, our blog posts, whatever you're doing to attract people, they have to be a lot more effective at getting people. And I can tell you from our own data, we've actually found the conversion rates for the $5 product are about the same as the $25 product. So you better believe we make more $25 products now and less $5 products, because there's a certain point where just because it's $5 doesn't mean you're going to get 5 times the amount of people purchasing your offer. So let's jump into the first type of course that you're probably going to create. This is probably going to be some sort of workshop. I like creating 1 to maybe 3 hour max courses, and this is a 30, 60, or 90-day plan. It makes it a lot easier to sell, and it makes your emails and copywriting a lot easier. We won't get into that though. So here's the pricing table of some of these price points that you can go for. And the key here is that this pricing under $200 is still technically within the impulse buy range. So when someone comes to your site, or maybe you send them an email, you send them over from a blog post or social post, they aren't going to have to look at their budget, most likely, to give you 50 to 200 bucks. And we'll get to the higher price points and what you might have to do there. But I do want to touch on the 7s and the 9s, right? Because you've probably seen everyone uses a 7 or a 9 at the end of their price, and you're wondering, why on earth does everybody do that? So if you want to know the psychology behind it and really dig into pricing, head over to nickkalinda.com/psychological pricing strategies, and he has a crazy deep dive guide that goes through all of the numbers and everything that you would need to know in terms of pricing your product. But in simple terms, we as humans psychologically are really easy to trick sometimes. So when we see something that's $9.99 versus, let's say, $100, our brains automatically think that the $9.99 one is significantly cheaper simply because of the first number. And so if you're going to charge $200 for a course, you're going to want to price it between $195, $197, or $199 simply because of the way our brains work. We see the 1 first instead of the 2, and we automatically assume that it's significantly cheaper. And yes, that 1 cent really does make a huge difference. Now, as soon as we cross the $200 range, we're getting into implementation course territory. And so this is where, instead of just helping someone with a really specific problem or kind of niche topic, we're taking a step back and guiding them through an entire process, like how to grow a YouTube channel A to Z, or how to run YouTube ads A to Z. And for some reason, I'm stuck on YouTube ads, probably because that's our example at a moment. So here's the pricing table for this. Again, we're using the 99 and the 7s here. And what's also important to note is as soon as you cross the $300 mark, then you're probably going to need some sort of contact. And so this could either be some sort of group coaching, some one-on-one reviews. But at this point in the maturity of the online course space, pretty much after you cross the $300 mark, typically there's some expectation of access to you, your team, or some sort of feedback loop, even if it's just a Facebook group. Now, most people, from personal experience, don't take you up on this at all. In fact, we've had memberships where we've given away group coaching, we've given away personal coaching, and people just never take it, never contact us. So that's not to say that you should add it and be like, well, only 2 or 3 people are actually going to take me up on it, but it is becoming more of a standard once you get into these higher pricing tiers, and you're definitely going to need more than a couple hours of course content. You're probably going to have a lot of downloads and worksheets or templates to accompany yours as well. So as an example, this is our YouTube ads course, or we wound up calling it Video Ads Machine. And so this is about, I think, 6 hours of content by the time we're done. And it has a lot of training. It has several downloads for people to go through, whether it's doing their research or coming up with what to put in their actual video. And this one's going to launch around $295. And we tend to keep our implementation programs under the $300 mark simply because I just don't have time to add on that coaching or personal access element. And when we get to subscriptions, you can see how you can actually layer these together in a moment. And as another example, because I talked over myself earlier, completely forgot, this is one of our $95 workshops. And so it comes in just at about 2.5 hours, and it helps someone go through the process of writing a sales letter and then coming up with a sales video. And so the main difference in terms of this course versus the one that's going to be about 3 times as much is, of course, this one's going to be 6 or 7 hours long by the time it's done. This one is only 3 hours, and the problem that we're solving is different. So with our $95 workshop here, we're just doing one thing. Here's how to make the sales letter and make the sales video. Versus the one that's $300, we're going A to Z and everything in between with YouTube ads. So we're delivering a much bigger result, which means we can charge significantly more. Now, if you still somehow have no idea what to charge, go ahead and comment below. I do read and reply to every single one, just a little slow at times. If you want to add some sort of reoccurring revenue to your course business, then here's a quick little chart of some of the different ways that you can structure it. And this chart is a little different because we have a churn column. So this is simply looking at how many new members do you need to sign up per month in order to stay at that $1,000 revenue price point. Because let's face it, not everyone is going to stay inside your membership forever. And so that's just what this is calculating. So at $47 a year, we need 255 people to stay subscribed to us versus a mastermind and maybe content library. So maybe you take a workshop or a course that's around $300 to $500, and then you add on a membership as a bonus. And if you decide to do something like that, of course, you give the first 3 or 6 months of the membership free with the course, and then you can have people go into billing. Of course, please make sure that it's really clear that you're going to start charging credit cards, because chargebacks are no joke and they can really, really hurt your ability to collect credit card information in the future. And so that's something that you can do with digital subscriptions if you'd like to add some sort of reoccurring revenue element to whatever it is that you're selling. And something that we tested in the past, spoiler alert, I totally failed, but we actually added on AMA at a little higher than $37 a month. And that was a really painful experience because we found that the price point that we went with was just way too high for what people expected or people wanted to pay. And once we gave some refunds and dropped it down to 37, our conversion rate started to work out a lot better. So all that to say, always start low and then raise your prices from there. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. You have a much clearer picture, or at least a little bit of a clearer picture, of what you could actually charge for your online course. Comment below with your questions and check out that link in the description to our online course launch playbook that helps you validate your course and actually start making sales before you spend all that time and energy putting together a course. So hit that like button, subscribe for more guides just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.